Module 3, Lesson 2's objective is to apply the distributive and commutative properties to relate multiplication facts 5 times n plus n to 6 times n and n times 6, where n is the size of the unit. Problem 2 says, there are 6 blades on each windmill. How many total blades are on 7 windmills? Use a 5's fact to solve. When doing word problems, it's important that I underline the important details. 6 blades on each windmill. Total on 7 windmills. Total blades. Use a 5's fact. I will go ahead and highlight the question as well. How many total blades are on 7 windmills? By highlighting, it reminds me to answer the question they are asking. In order to figure this problem out, I need to draw my 7 windmills. If I'm going to use a 5's fact, I will do 5 windmills in one group and 2 windmills in another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, because 5 plus 2 is 7. In the story problem, it says that there are 6 blades on each windmill, so I will label each of the circles with a 6. Now, I will label this drawing 5 6s. And I will label this drawing 2 6s. Because the directions say I'm supposed to use a 5's fact to solve. Now I know that 5 6s is the same as 5 groups of 6 or 5 times 6, and that equals 30. And I know that 2 6s is the same thing as 2 groups of 6, which is 2 times 6, and that equals 12. Now I will use the distributive property to finally solve the equation. 7 windmills times 6 blades on each windmill is the same as 5 groups of 6 plus 2 groups of 6. 5 groups of 6 is 30, plus 2 groups of 6 is 12. Notice that I'm lining up my equal sign, keeping everything directly below the previous line. Now I will go ahead and bring down the 30 and decompose the 12. 12 is the same thing as 10 plus 2. So 30 plus 10 is 40, and then we add the 2. And 40 plus 2 is 42. Now we have to answer the question in words. How many total blades are on 7 windmills? I'll write it up here. 42 blades are on 7 windmills. Remember, whenever there's a word problem, the strategy is to read, underline the key details, highlight or circle the question. Draw. Draw can mean draw a picture or show how you've done the work using numbers. And then write. That means answer the question in words. Read, draw, write. That's the strategy. Problem 3. Juanita organizes her magazines into 3 equal piles. She has a total of 18 magazines. How many magazines are in each pile? In order to solve this problem, I need to underline the key details. 3 equal piles, total of 18 magazines. I will highlight the question. How many magazines are in each pile? If you don't have a highlighter, you could use a yellow crayon or just circle the question. Doing so will remind you that you need to answer the question at the end of solving the problem. In order to solve the problem, I will draw a tape diagram. I know that my tape diagram needs to have 3 sections, because in the story it says that Juanita organizes her magazines into 3 equal piles. I will label my tape diagram on the top to show that there are 18 magazines. That reminds me that the total amount of magazines in all is 18. Underneath, I will label it 3 piles, so my teacher knows why I divided my tape diagram that way. Now, if my magazines are in 3 equal piles, that means I'm dividing up the amount of magazines that I have equally in 3 areas. So I will write the math problem, 18 divided by 3 equals. Now, if you don't know what 18 divided by 3 is, here's how you could solve it. You could distribute those 18 magazines equally into those 3 piles, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Doing it that way, it shows that each pile has 6 magazines in it. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now I need to answer the question in words. How many magazines are in each pile? There are 6 magazines in each pile. Problem 4. Marcuo spends $27 on some plants. Each plant costs $9. How many plants does he buy? I think I'll go ahead and use a tape diagram to solve this problem as well. I will label this piece of tape $27 because the total amount that was spent on plants is $27. Now we know by looking at the key detail here that each plant costs $9. I should have underlined the key details first, but I'll go ahead and write that in now since I underlined it. Now I'll highlight the question since I didn't do that a moment ago. How many plants does he buy? Well, if each plant costs $9, what we're really looking for is how many 9s are in 27. So I'll write that here. How many 9s, are in $27. So the math problem that I'll write is 27 divided by 9, because each section of the tape diagram will be worth $9. And I'll go ahead and write my $sign in here too. Now, if you don't know what the answer to 27 divided by 9 is, what you can do is use some repeated addition until you get to 27. So I'll have $9 plus $9. That equals $18. Well, that's not 27, so I know I have to keep going. And I'll say $18 plus $9. That equals $27. Now I'm to 27. So how many 9s was that? 1, 2, 3. I already have 1 drawn in my tape diagram, so I'll draw another one. And another one. So $27 divided by $9 for each plant means I have enough money, or in this case, Marcuo had enough money to buy 3 plants. Now it's time to answer the question in words. How many plants does he buy? He buys 3 plants. Remember, the strategy for solving word problems is always read, draw, write.